All right, welcome to the Lost and Found. I am Gail Washington,
And I'm Frankie Kunaho.
not Kahonaho.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that another time. But yes, it's Kunaho.
Kunaho and Frankie Kunaho. If you joined us last week, you heard our introductory show, and today we're going to get a little bit more focused because we wanted to have a discussion about listening. Something that a lot of people don't do actively. Many people listen in order to respond, or they listen in order to pick apart whatever the situation is or justify whatever their point is. And sometimes in listening, we don't all receive the same message the same way at the same time. I am technically the youngest of seven. In our immediate household, there were three of us. So we all pretty much got the same information at the same time by the same two people and had totally different takes from it because unfortunately my sister and brother got a whole lot of whoopings. I didn't need to get one. I didn't need to get one because just, watching their take on things led me to the understanding that if I just sat still and let the Lord handle it, I'd be okay. Because my father would lose his mind and my mother not so much. But once she was there was no coming back. And I wrote an entire book on pretty much on listening communication. The title of the book was Nuggets from a Ghetto Dad, because there's an
Right.
assumption if you're raised in a certain environment, you don't get those nuggets and gems of wisdom. We get them. The reality is, sit down and shut the hell up is the exact same thing as, sweetheart, we're going to get you a timeout. It's the same thing.
Right.
One comes with a hug, another comes with a shoe up beside your head if you don't hear it.
Right. Well, I was just practicing my active listening skills as you were
Yes.
speaking just now.
That's beautiful.
And actually, that was a joke, Gail. And I was just thinking when we were talking last time about loss and so on and so forth, that a lot of people do not know how to actively listen to when someone is expressing that loss, whatever it is. And I think I need to apologize to you, Gail, because I think it was last time you mentioned the loss of your christening ring. And I actually, see, here I go again. I actually burst out laughing because it didn't mean to me what it meant to you. And I was like, I wasn't actively listening, and I really was not showing compassion. So do you accept my apology?
I accept your apology, but
Okay. Oh, no.
but to qualify, when
Okay.
you are seven, the world ends quickly for certain things. I mean, if you get the wrong ice cream flavor, you're going over the edge, pretty much, and you're taking some people with you. At this stage of life, that is hilarious. It really
Okay.
is. And it,
Right, but I mean, I think where I'm trying. Okay, I just threw out an apology because I think that goes against what we're about to talk. Dive into as far
yeah,
as talking. Is like when someone is actually telling you about their loss. I think that we really need to maintain a sensitivity to listening to what they're talking about. And I know you're going to dive more into actively listening because of your book, and I do want you to speak a little bit more on that. But I also want to circle back in this whole listening concept of when we are going through a loss, how important it is for those that are going through the loss to listen to ourselves. And
hmm
I'll touch on that a little bit more if you want to go back to your actively listening.
well, yeah, actually, one of the things when you don't listen actively, there's a loss there. You lose the value of that conversation.
Right.
If you are just what I like to call half-assing a conversation, and you're talking to someone on the phone, and while you're on the phone with them, you're watching the TV, or you're on your phone playing a game while you're talking to a person, you are not involved in the conversation. You do not value that conversation or the
Right.
context of it. And
Right.
next thing you know, you've got a friend who's sitting in jail. They already told you they're having an issue, and
Right.
you just dismissed it.
Because you're half-assing. Because that's where she
Yeah,
just used it. I thought that was actually entertaining. Half-ass listening.
right.
And it's true because, like you said, you're going through something and you're really desperate for someone to listen to you, and you're talking to your friend or your pastor or your school teacher or whatever, and that person's on their phone playing what's that, Candy Crush or whatever. Because I keep getting those little invites to doing
Sorry,
that.
I
To play that.
apologize. That might be me.
Yeah, I said, whoever sent them, I really wish you'd knock it the heck off. But nonetheless, because I'm trying to actively listen, I don't have time to be playing these games on this phone. But I think that you're 100% right, because the person that is actually expressing whatever it is that they're expressing, and that person that should be listening, actively listening, while they're playing the phone or playing on the phone or watching television or whatever, it does. It takes away. It actually takes the steam and the, what is that? I don't even know the right
The value.
verbiage. It makes you, the person that's doing the talking can absolutely tell when that person is not listening. So therefore, it actually does take the wind out of that person that's speaking, that, oh, this person's not even listening to a damn thing I'm saying, because they're playing a game or they're watching television or, they're cooking or they're cleaning or whatever.
Or my favorite.
What's this?
My favorite. And this comes from a point of being single. I don't have pets. I'm home alone most of the time. So when I'm talking to someone, it is truly of value. And to be talking to someone, yet they're talking to everyone in their home while you're on the phone, and it's like, I'll talk to you later.
Right.
You're distracted. You're busy. Oh, no, keep talking. No, because
Right.
your kid's about to set the house on fire. I think you need to attend to that.
Right. No, and you know what? Seriously, and of course, I'm not single. I am married, but I've had that experience, and I'm going to throw my mom under the bus because I know she'll listen to this podcast. But no, we've both done it to each other. We really have. That she's talking to me, and I'm like playing Candy Crush. I'm not from Candy Crush, but and I'm talking to her, and I can tell she's distracted by whatever is going on her end, and it does. It takes away from the conversation, and it actually devalues what that person is actually saying. At least that's my opinion and my thought on that.
Okay, here's a question. As a married woman, when your husband is home, if you're on the phone with one of your single friends, do you two have some not a safe word, that's a totally different topic.
I was about to say, that is none of your business.
Do you have some type of protocol where you're like, hey, give me 5, or you're flashing gang signs or something to each other? How does that work?
We have post-it notes. No, I'm joking. We don't have any of that. We actually have a policy in our home, and she just reiterated it the other day, is that when we come home into our home, this is our safe haven. This is our quiet place, where we spend quality time together. So we do not do business. We do not talk on the phone. We will, if we watch television, we pick a show that we're both going to be interested in. We're not on the internet. We're not doing any of those things. As a matter of fact, for example, we do not even have a television in our bedroom.
I don't either.
Because no, seriously, we spend a lot of time having conversations in our bedroom. We'll sit in our recliners, and he'll sit on one side, I'll sit on the other side, and we'll just have conversation. I think it's 100% important, whether you're married or single, that we stay conscious to the fact of actually listening to what people are saying and not tuning people out. I'm going to use your word again, not half-ass listening, because it hurts the other person who's trying to convey something, to have that person that they're speaking to not listening at all. It does. It hurts. I remember, and I'm just going to dive back into our previous conversation, as we've already discussed, and we're not going to discuss every single podcast, but after my son passed away in 2006, after some time, I actually went and spoke to an individual because everybody was like, "Oh, you should go into counseling. You need to go and see a counselor. You need to see a therapist, and so on and so forth." And I didn't. I did not feel that that was for me. I did attempt to go, and Gail, you know me very well. I did. I walked into the group of people, of
Laughing.
parents, and it wasn't. I wasn't laughing at the time. I waited until I got to the car, back to the car, and started laughing because I was thinking to myself, "Geez, this is really, really, really weird that these people were in this room." And I'm thinking that their children passed away around the same time frame because this was probably about a good 5 to 6 months after Donovan's transition. And so I'm thinking that we're all on the same probably time frame or whatever as far as our child or children passing away. And I learned that that was not the case, that we were all in different places. There were people that were in the room that their child had died 20 years ago. And I was thinking to myself, this is not a place for me. Now, you know me, and people who will hear my voice know me, know I will never degrade anybody else's processing of a loss of a child.
Right.
I will never degrade it. I will never disrespect it. I just felt at that moment this was not a place for me because it just was, it felt stifling, and it felt like, well, it's been 20 years or it's been, 15 years or whatever. So long story very short, because that's not where I was going with this. I enter into a private conversation with a lady, and I'm talking to her, and I'm giggling now because I'm reliving it in my mind, that I started talking to her, and she started off very interested in talking to me about Donovan and, his life and his transition out of this life. And she gets a phone call in the middle of the conversation, and she looks at her phone, and she says, "Oh, hold on just a minute," to me. She's asked me to hold on a minute. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it must be something really serious. Well, it may have been serious to her, but it really diminished the conversation between her and I, because she gets on the phone and she says, "Well, hey, Barbara," I forgot the name, it wasn't really Barbara, but she was like, "Hey, Barbara, oh yeah, no, we'll still meet up for yoga. Oh yeah, no, I'll bring some extra water."
Is this before the days of texting?
Right. And I just looked like, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so Barbara couldn't have waited a few more minutes till I finished my conversation with you, Barbara's conversation about yoga the next day, and so on and so forth. And it really did. It diminished the conversation, and it left me feeling empty. So, again, I think it's important that active listening, like you're doing right now, Gail, and you're doing it really, really well.